What's up, guys? We're back with another B Talks video, and you already know what it's about. This has been probably one of the greatest weeks to be a Chicago fan, to be living in Chicago, to see something great happen. As you can tell by my hoodie, I am excited this week. This is probably the best week I've had in a while. We're gonna get into free agency. We're gonna get into the Bears free agency signage. We're gonna get into just some trades that happened. We can get into all of it. I'm gonna recap it. I'm gonna give you my mock draft after the free agency. Did my own little mock draft. I think what's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty close to what's gonna go down. But yeah, we're gonna get into that. But first, let's get into my Chicago Bears. Wow, what a week for them. Ben Johnson, I don't know if you've all seen today, the picture came out of him his first 50 days as the head coach, and this man looks like he's stressing, but you know, stressing in a good way. He looked like he's been in Hallis Hall for 50 days straight and has not been home to his family, which I would not blame him. This man has pulled off some amazing deals, and I hope that it keeps getting better. And I'm gonna say this before I even get to my mock draft. I'm gonna say this right now: Ashton Genty is coming to Chicago, and I'm saying that right now before it happens, so nobody can be like, "Oh, he didn't call that before." No, you heard it right here on Beat Talks. Ashton Genty is coming to Chicago, and I will stand on that until something else happens, and I will be surprised if something else happens. As you know, Ben Johnson likes to run that two running back thing, and with DeAndre Swift here, we can move Roshan Johnson to the three running back. The third, really honestly, we can move him to a third down running back, and him and Ashton Genty can split the time at third down running back, and run Swift and Ashton Genty out there. But that's my pick at 10 for the Bears if he's there. So let's get into the free agency. I'm gonna go team by team, give my thoughts on everything that happens, and then we're going to get in really deep dive into the Bears situation and what really happened and my thoughts. But I'm really excited. I honestly, I think they had the best free agency. I don't think nobody really came close to that. Um, I'm gonna get into one of the teams in their division of I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna get into that. But to start off with the AFC East with the Buffalo Bills, they gave their main franchise player a contract, Josh Allen. I mean, we all saw that coming off of MVP season, MVP that I still stand on that he didn't deserve, but you know, MVP season is an MVP season, Um, yeah, and they brought in Joey Bosa, which was kind of surprising. We all thought he was going to the 49ers to go play with his brother, but those things never pan out the way they're supposed to. So, that's not big of a shocker, but it's surprising that he went to Buffalo. So, warm weather to cold weather. Let's see how he balls out. Um, Also brought in Joshua Palmer, which is actually a good ad for them. He's not a great wide receiver, but a great ad for them just at wide receiver depth wise, just because I feel like they need was one of the things they struggled with, and they went and got what they needed. And honestly, they're probably going to get more in the draft, and I'm going to talk about the player they're going to draft later in this video. But yeah, Miami, didn't really do too much. Honestly, probably make a lot more moves in the draft. Zach Wilson, not too big of a something to bring in, and Nick Westbrook, nobody too big either. Nothing too big there with This was a shocker for me, to be honest. The Patriots didn't do as much as a lot of people probably thought they were going to, as they had the most cap. They actually have a lot of cap, which is interesting. I mean, they only brought in four players, and I thought they were going to be big competition with the Bears. I think a lot of the players that the Bears got, Patriots probably did want. They just probably could. These players probably just didn't want to go there because they don't see them in a winning situation right now. I say give them another year or two, and they will be in the same spot the Bears were in this free agency. And you got Milton Williams tackle. You got Morgan Moses pass rusher. A lot of defense. Harold Landry the third cornerback. Pass rusher. And then Milton Williams was the defensive tackle. They brought in a tackle, Morgan Moses, and then they brought in also a linebacker. So a lot of skill positions, a lot of defense, I would say. I guess they're banking on that they're gonna. I see them taking a wide receiver in the draft, which I'm gonna tell you who the wide receiver is later in the video. But yeah, the Jets brought in my boy Justin Fields. I'm so happy for him. He got his bag. What, 3 years, 40 million with 30 million guaranteed. So that 10 mil. I mean, if he don't get that 10 mil, he don't get that 10 mil. Most of his contracts guaranteed right off rip. So he proved himself. What, 4-1, 5-1, something like that in Pittsburgh. Balled out, benched, was okay about it. I think he finally went to a spot where he will get the starting spot and keep the starting spot unless he gets hurt or he doesn't perform. But I think he will perform. They just need to put pieces around him. They also added a lot of defense too, which was kind of interesting because they lost one of their wide receivers, so they might be taking a wide receiver in the draft. On my mock draft, I'm not 100% sure if I put them as a wide receiver. I might have actually with the losing of Devontae Adams, but we will go over that. Um, Baltimore, none too crazy. Brought in DeAndre Hopkins. He's kind of old. They definitely need another wide receiver. So, I mean, they re-signed Stanley, which was one of the best offensive linemen, me personally, in the league. So that was good. Uh, they didn't really do much. So Cincinnati, kind of surprising. I still don't think they have a good offensive line. I have them taking offensive lineman in the draft, so that's probably what they're eyeing on. Um, they didn't really do a lot. Cleveland restructured Deshaun Watson's contract again, which they're going to probably keep needing to do that until that contract expires, which is fully guaranteed. So he don't have to play another ball in his life. They can't even move him probably because nobody wants to take that contract on. I mean, it's probably not a lot now, but still, nobody wants a player on their team where they got to fully pay them, even if they get hurt. Because he's been hurt probably every year I think he's been in Cleveland. He cannot stay healthy. So, but it doesn't matter for him. He's going to get his bag. Myles Garrett got his bag, which was kind of surprising. He came out upset, talking about he wants to go somewhere where he can win. But I still don't think Cleveland's a winning situation. I think he sold out for the money at the end of the day because he saw that nobody was going to give him that money. And so, you got to do what you got to do at the age that he is. So he's probably close to the end of his career. So, Pittsburgh's an interesting team. A lot of still rumors floating around there with Aaron Rodgers maybe coming to town. Russell Wilson's still there. Justin Fields gone. Uh, they're a good team. They literally just need a quarterback. That's literally what it came down to towards the end of the season was bad quarterback play. And they didn't put Russell. I mean, they did put Justin back in there, so that's on them. Texans, they're just young. They brought C.J. Gardner in. Great trade on their end. I don't know if trading away Laramie Tunsil was the player to trade, but C.J. Gardner is a great player to have out there on the field, getting some players' heads. They didn't really need to do much. They got a really good defense, and C.J. Stroud, one of my favorite quarterbacks, he's going to be fine. Indianapolis have no clue what's going on. Neighbors next door to the Bears, I have no clue what they're doing out there. You bring in Daniel Jones, which I mean, give some quarterback comp, but you let go of a 25-year-old defensive end, and you don't really have a good offense. To be honest, you could use another wide receiver. I don't know what they're doing over there, but if they think that Daniel Jones is the answer, then let's see. I mean, it'd nice to see Daniel Jones under a different coach, under some different coaching to see if he was the problem in New York or was it the coaches that he was under. So Jacksonville didn't really do much either. The AFC South didn't really do a lot. Jacksonville definitely probably gonna make some moves in the draft as they got a really high draft picks. Tennessee, they got a young quarterback. They definitely got to figure something out over there. Um, Denver, Denver's a young team too. Denver's got Bo Nix as a quarterback, so give him. He had a great rookie year. Honestly, um, he could have been put up for rookie of the year, but my boy Washington just balled out towards the end of the season when it really mattered. So Denver will be back in the playoffs though this year. Kansas City, they need defense. Like flat out, just need defense. Honestly, their offense is fine. I mean, they let go of the dude that came to the Bears, but they need defense. They need it. They need secondary. I feel like that's where they lack secondary corners. Like, I mean, they brought in a corner, but like they need more than that. Just one corner. They restructured Patrick Mahomes' contract, so let's see what that does for them. Um, the Raiders, Tom Brady's got some say over there. Gino coming from Seattle. That was a very interesting trade. For me, I don't know what to say to that. And Jeremy Chin coming over too. That was a great signing. They they building something over there. They gonna be mediocre this year. They're probably gonna be a top 10 pick again, but it's not gonna be top five. I would say. Excuse me, not top five, but uh, they're building something. Give them in 2020, 2026, 2026, 2027 season, they're going to be really, really good. The Chargers coming off a great season. Another Oregon quarterback. Uh, Added Najee Harris, brought back Khalil Mack, gave him $18 million. Everybody thought he was coming back to the Bears. I'm glad the Bears didn't bring him back. I think that Najee Harris signing was probably a really good signing for them. They definitely could use a good running back. Najee Harris is a really good running back, in my personal opinion. On to the NFC, Cowboys. I don't know what they're doing over there. They're gonna win a Super Bowl every year. Shit, they're gonna win it. They're gonna win it this season coming up. Jerry Jones needs to go sit his rusty, crusty butt down and sell the team. And the Cowboys literally this past season, I must say this. I honestly thought that if Dak didn't get hurt, I honestly thought the Cowboys legitimately had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And I'm not even on no trolling. Like they literally could have went. They had the pieces, and they just Dak got hurt. So we're gonna see this season. I feel like that's the reason they didn't add anything because I thought they had a really good team, but Dak coming off that injury, we don't know what Dak's gonna be. Honestly, if I was the Cowboys, honestly, I would look into a quarterback in the draft. Now I know you just signed Dak to that big contract this past season, but honestly, it might be time because if we really look at it, he's getting up there in age, and eventually you're gonna have to rebuild. Now, do you wait and not take a quarterback these next two drafts, including next year, and then go from there? But me, honestly, I'm taking a quarterback, and maybe if Dak doesn't perform, I'm moving Dak next offseason. I'm dumping him or buying him out, and we're starting over. The Giants, I don't know what's going on up there either. They're going to be bottom of the pack. They're going to probably a top five pick again. Uh, but the player I have going to them might do something for them. Philadelphia. Now, everybody's complaining about, Philadelphia's letting go of all these players. See, this is the problem when you win the Super Bowl, and a lot of people still don't understand this. Now, I know the guys on the big networks, the big sports networks, they understand what Eagles are doing. I understand what the Eagles are doing. It took me a while to understand this a few years back, but once you really get into sports and really understand and really know what you're talking about, the Eagles will just won a Super Bowl. Now you got 50 people on the team with Eagles now. They're Super Bowl champions, especially on that defensive side. They cannot pay everybody. And when you win a Super Bowl and you got players up for contract, you cannot pay these guys. The biggest person they let go that I thought was weird was Josh Sweat. And I mean, they brought back Zach. Uh, they brought back that linebacker Zach Barnes, whatever his name is, which I wanted him to come to Chicago like 2 free agencies ago, but they didn't do it. But the guys they let go, they had to because they are Super Bowl champs and you can't re-sign everybody. I mean, you got to make sure you keep your quarterback happy with his signing. You got Saquon now. You got AJ Brown. Like those are your main guys right there. And then you got the defensive line, probably one of the best defensive lines in the game. So they had to cut, and they cut in the secondary, which is smart because you didn't lose the core up front. Because honestly, if that defense keeps playing like that, it don't matter who you put back there. There's picks coming. So interceptions coming, pick sixes. So knock takeaways, knockdowns, breakups. Like I I'm fine with what Philadelphia did. I'm not gonna hate on them. They know what they're doing. So took them what 3 years to get 2 years to get back to the Super Bowl. So Washington, wow, this is gonna be a good team next year. This is gonna be a really really good team. I wouldn't want to see them next year with them bringing in Debo and Kinlaw and the team they already have there. They just need a safety, to be honest, a safety, a corner to go back there. That secondary was the biggest question for me last year with them. But besides that, they're set. I don't got nothing bad to say about them. I like the deals they made, the trades they made, all that good stuff. So more power to them. Now to the NFC North. I'm gonna skip the Bears right now. I'm gonna skip the Bears. I'm gonna go back to them last because the team I want to talk about first is the Minnesota Vikings. You bring in Jonathan Allen from the Commanders, good signing. Bring in Ryan Kelly, good signing. Your defense is already set, probably one of the top three defenses in the NFC or even in the NFL. You're cutting quarterbacks. You lost Daniel Jones. You lost Sam Darnold. They're going with JJ McCarthy, which makes sense. You got to. He was the 10th pick last year in the draft. But you don't have a backup for him if he gets hurt again. He's literally coming off an injury. You don't know how this nigga is gonna play. You let your best quarterback you probably had since Kirk Cousins left walk. That's not good. I guess, in a few seasons JJ McCarthy is gonna be up for contract. I guess they think he's gonna ball out. They can't have what's his name on the books, but I don't know. That was kind of weird to me, but the Vikings are the Vikings, and that's why some people just never win things. The Packers didn't really make a lot of noise. I mean, I guess they're happy with their team. Their defense is pretty good. Offense need a wide receiver. Detroit didn't really need to do a lot. They just need coaches. They lost all their coaches, but yeah, and everybody just needs to get healthy as they had a lot of injuries. But that was about it. To my Chicago Bears. Wow. You address the issue everybody complained about. You went in there, cooked. Now you just got to go out there and do the plays. You literally don't need to do. You literally could. You honestly just need Ashton Genty. Whatever you do the rest of the draft, nobody's gonna care. You address all the issues that I honestly been saying was the problem. That everybody else been saying was the problem. Is defensive end, defensive tackle, in the offensive line. They addressed all of it. Honestly, Tyler Warren could come to town tight end. I really don't care what they take at 10 anymore. You addressed my issues that I had a problem with the team. And so I know Will Campbell's still being thrown out there, and I know the reason why. But I honestly, that would be my last resort if Tyler Warren or Ashton Genty's out there on the board, which I don't see why neither one of them wouldn't be there. It's just a decision of coming down to who you want to take. But Jerry, you brought in Joe Tooney, Jonah Jackson, and Drew Dahlman to block for your franchise quarterback. Probably 2 to 3 are probably one of the best offensive linemen you probably could have brought to town. Jonah Jackson, I'm not 100% sold on yet. But Drew Dalton, you addressed the center problem you've been having for like 4 seasons now. Bring in a defensive end, Dale Gabu from the Colts, 25-year-old who hasn't had much experience yet. Bring in Grady Jarrett, ex-Falcon, who's pushing 35, but you know he can still ball. They've been saying these Falcons fans are upset, livid that they let this man leave and go to the Bears. And people in Atlanta, I've heard, have been saying that if he's 100% healthy, he's a dog. And if you go watch the film, he is a dog. And when I found out that he got signed, I was in class when he got signed. My facial expression changed when I saw Scheffner break the news. I was so happy because this was the last signing they did. So, like, it was great to see this happen. I was so happy. The Atlanta Falcons, I feel bad. You lost probably your 2 best players. You bring in Leonard Floyd. Can he even play anymore? The Carolina Panthers, ever since they made the trade with the Bears, they haven't been the same. They technically ruined their team. Didn't really sign any big names. The Saints need to be healthy. They had a lot of injuries last year. They didn't really need to make a lot of moves. Tampa Bay didn't really need to make a lot of moves. Brought back Chris Godwin and Levante Davis. No really big moves for them. I think they got their franchise quarterback in Baker Mayfield. They got a pretty good team. Arizona, was surprisingly quiet. They might be taking a wide receiver in the draft, maybe a tight end. The Rams kind of turning into rebuild mode. I feel bad for Matthew Stafford when his wife came out and talked about the whole Cooper Kupp situation. Like, she was right with talking about you just got rid of this man's number 1 weapon. I mean, they got the other dude there, but I mean, they brought in Devontae Adams, but what was the point of bringing Devontae Adams? You literally just could have kept Cooper Kupp. Like, I don't understand the difference between doing that and doing that. Like, you literally just made the same move. So, I don't know. I guess they wanted to get it, throw it deep and go up and get a type of guy, which Devontae Adams can be, but I don't know. That was kind of dumb. 49ers in rebuild mode. And the Seahawks in rebuild mode too. I don't know. Sam Darnold chased the bag. So that's really it on that point of view with all the teams. My mock draft. Let's get into that. Tennessee Titans are picking first. My mock draft doesn't have no trades in it, so this is just straight. If they went straight through the draft with no trades, there would definitely be some trades. But and number 1 overall pick out of University of Miami, Cam Ward. Tennessee needs a quarterback. And they need to start there and then go from there. Yeah. At 2, I have the Cleveland Browns taking Travis Hunter. They got Deshaun on the books. I mean, I don't see them really taking a quarterback. I think that they just need Travis to come to town. If Travis is gonna play both sides of the ball, honestly, Travis should low key. If he goes to Cleveland, he honestly should play wide receiver. I wouldn't play corner in Cleveland. At three, right behind him, his teammate Shador Sanders goes to the Giants. They need a quarterback, and I think that's the best situation right there for him. Um, unless Tennessee decides they want him, but I think Cameron Ward's going to go number one overall. At four, I have the Patriots taking Mason Graham, defensive lineman out of Michigan. They have their quarterback. They took him last year. I think that, they could go wide receiver here. Honestly, I don't think none of the wide receivers are good enough to go at four. So, yeah, I think they go defensive lineman here. At five, I have the Jaguars taking Abdul Carter. You got your quarterback. You're paying $200 million, $200 million to. Um, they didn't. The Jaguars weren't bad last year. They just literally, I don't know what it was, but they just couldn't get it going. I didn't think they were a bad team, so that kind of threw me off. At six, I have the Raiders taking an offensive lineman. You bring in Geno Smith. You're taking Will Campbell out of LSU. Seven, Jets take Will Johnson, corner out of Michigan, to go along with can't think of his name right now. Sauce Gardner. Yeah, Sauce Gardner. At eight, I have Carolina taking a wide receiver. Honestly, I think that's what they need. Carolina has one of the top five most paid offensive line. So I think they need wide receivers. They could take Tyler Warren here too, but I have them taking McLean out of Arizona. At nine, I have the Saints taking Jalen Walker from Georgia University edge uh, to go along with that defense. And honestly don't think they need wide receivers. Again, I don't think that none of the receivers are good enough besides the dude out of Arizona to go. I mean, Tez Johnson's there, but I honestly think Tez Johnson's going to be a second round pick. Uh, at 10, I have my Bears taking Ashton Genty. I feel like if not Ashton and Tyler Warren, but I'm going with Ashton Genty going to the Bears. I just think that he's the most logical pick. You don't need any more offensive linemen. You just work with what you got now. Um, yeah. At 11, I have the 49ers taking an offensive tackle from Missouri, Armin Maboud. Uh, he was also projected to go to the Bears, so was Will Campbell, but now you see that the Bears aren't going to take an offensive lineman. I'd be shocked if they wasted a pick on him, on an offensive lineman. At 12, I have Tyler Warren going to the Cowboys. Now, this if they actually get Tyler Warren, I think it would make the most sense because he to go with CD Lamb. CD Lamb doesn't have nobody else but CD Lamb out there to throw. Yeah, to throw to CD Lamb. He's like the number one option. If you get Tyler Warren out there, then that takes a little bit of pressure off of CD Lamb. I mean, CD Lamb's still gonna get double teamed, but then you can just go to Tyler Warren underneath, get them dink and dunk plays, get 5 yards, 10 yards. Tyler Warren's a very versatile tight end. I think he's one of the best tight ends coming out the draft. So at 13, Tua's coming off that terrible concussion season. I have them taking Kevlon Banks from Texas, offensive tackle. At 14, I have the Colts taking an edge rusher since they just let their 25-year-old edge rusher walk and go to the Bears. I have them taking Mikael Williams, edge from Georgia. 15, I have Shamir Stewart, edge from Texas A&M, going to the Falcons as they literally just lost some interior. So, I guess bring in him. Jaden Barron, cornerback from Texas, going to the Cardinals. I think they need defense. I think they need a corner, to be honest. Josh Simmons from Ohio State, going to the Bengals at 17, offensive tackle. they need to block for Joe Burrow. He literally has no blocking, so that will really help. At 18, I have the Seahawks taking Emeka Ibuka out of Ohio State, wide receiver. This makes sense right here. They don't have wide receivers anymore, and he gets to play with Njigba now. So two Ohio State receivers. Um, yeah. And then James Pierce Jr., edge from Tennessee, going to Tampa Bay. I honestly think Tampa Bay didn't need any offense. I think they needed defense, and an edge would be nice. And he's tough. He's really tough. I watched him play this past season. He's tough. I have Colston Longlove, tight end out of Michigan, going to Denver just to go along with that offense they're building. Bo Nix could use the help, and I think a tight end is what they really need. At 21, I have Pittsburgh taking Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas. Their defense is fantastic. They probably could use another weapon at receiver. At 22, I have the Chargers taking Derek Harmon, D-line out of Oregon. He's tough. He will make pressure up the middle. He will cause havoc, and he will make that Chargers offense way better now with the Bosa brother gone. So that's why I have them taking him. At 23, I have Green Bay taking Luther Burden, wide receiver from Missouri. They could use another wide receiver. Their defense is great. They don't need any defense. They honestly just need a wide receiver. That's where I thought weapons wise, Jordan Love struggled, and they got running backs, they got everything else, but probably another wide receiver to go along there. At 24, I have Tyler Booker, outside linebacker from Alabama, going to the Vikings. The Vikings, honestly, they don't need anything. I kind of, I kind of just didn't know what to put for the Vikings, but I guess beef up the defense even more. At 25, I feel like the Texans needed a safety, Malik Starks out of Georgia. He's a really good safety. I think that's where they struggle with their secondary. The Rams, I have them taking a D lineman, Kenneth Grant. Their defense has been really good since what's his name retired. Can't think of his name right now, but yeah. 27, I have Walter Knowles from Mississippi going D lineman going to Ravens. Uh, I feel like their defense, especially on the line, is where they struggled a lot last year. So I think that will help, especially with uh, Roquan Smith getting some picks back there and controlling that back there, and then him creating pressure. Jahad Campbell, linebacker from Alabama, going to the Lions. I think they need another linebacker to really beef that defense up even more. And then Shavon Ravel Jr., cornerback from East Carolina, going 29 to the Washington Commanders. I think corners and safety and all that back there is where they struggled last season. And then at 30, I have Mike Green, edge from Marshall, going to the Buffalo Bills. At 31, I have the Kansas City Chiefs drafting a safety as I think their defense needs some help and secondary. Nick Marvoir, if I'm pronouncing that right, from South Carolina. And then at 32, your Super Bowl champs, drafting Maxwell Hairston, cornerback from Kentucky, as they literally just lost some secondary with CJ Gardner going. And so that's why I have them taking him out of Kentucky. And I will be posting actually this. I just got to get a graphic for it and like type it out and everything. I will be posting this probably as a YouTube short or even on my TikTok and on my Instagram story. All my links to my socials you can find in my YouTube bio, also on my Instagram at b.ingram17. But yeah, I just got to type this up and everything, and I will be releasing this before the draft, hopefully this weekend. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and if you want to see anything else or me to talk about your NFL team or anything else, leave a comment below. I'll give my thoughts on them. The next video will probably be a post-draft video, so be looking for that, and we'll go over my mock draft and see how much I got wrong and where I went wrong. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment. Love all the support. Keep supporting. Keep running up the videos. Let's keep growing together. Yeah, keep grinding. Love yourself. And thank God every day for waking you up.